It began on a rainless Tuesday, one of those days that hovers between decisions. Matilda sat cross-legged on her bed, twirling a pencil above her unopened planner, trying to pretend she hadn't spent the whole morning doing nothing at all. She was, in her own words, a specialist in not beginning things. It arrived on a Tuesday, though time in Giovanna's world often melted like caramel under the sun, slow, sweet, and slightly suspicious. A knock at the door broke the spell. At first, she ignored it. Perhaps if she sat still enough, the universe would forget it had plans for her. But the knocking resumed, soft but insistent, like a polite tap from fate. She padded to the door and opened it. No one stood there. To the threshold in her socks, there it sat, a box swaddled in midnight blue velvet, soft as whispered spells. She blinked once, twice. No delivery man, no note. Just the package and its impossibility. Giovanna, a girl of 17 and still sleepy from a nap she didn't remember beginning, lifted it gently. It thrummed in her hands, subtly, like a secret. Inside, nestled in silk the color of storm clouds, was something curious. A costume, otter-shaped, complete with a silky brown hood, small ear flaps, and gloves stitched like paws. She giggled despite herself. Who would send such a thing? There was no return address. Only a card. Try me on. You'll smile again. Giovanna didn't smile often. The world felt too gray, too heavy, too sharp around the edges. But this was absurd, which, she admitted, was slightly better than dull. She held the suit up. It was warm where it shouldn't be. It smelled like lavender, salt water, and cinnamon. Oh, why not? She murmured, and in a moment of whimsy, or was it enchantment, she stepped inside. Zizzip. The change was immediate. Her arms shortened, her feet tingled, her ears buzzed. She felt light, round, ticklish in the whiskers. She darted to the mirror, expecting a joke. Instead, an otter with wide, blinking eyes looked back, as astonished as she was. Giovanna squeaked, tried to speak, wiggled, flopped, then giggled so hard she rolled off the rug. She hadn't laughed like that in years. And just then, from the open window, a faint cackle echoed through the breeze. Not cruel, just knowing. The kind of laugh that said, "Asterisk, you've taken the first step, little otter. Now, let's see if you can swim." Asterisk. Being an otter was not the strangest part. It was how natural it felt. Giovanna padded in circles on the wooden floor, her tiny webbed paws clicking softly. Her tail swished with intent, and she marveled at its weight. It wasn't heavy, it was purposeful, like an exclamation mark attached to her spine. She scampered to the hallway mirror. What stared back was not the clumsy girl who slouched through life. No. This creature had sparkle, mischief, momentum. She tapped the glass. The otter tapped back, but it hesitated just a breath too long, as if watching her. She tilted her head. So did the otter, but its grin widened, cheeky, knowing. "This isn't just a costume," she muttered in a chittering squeak. "This is enchanted." She turned to find the box, but the velvet had vanished, as though swallowed by the shadows. All that remained was the small card, now glowing faintly gold. "Enjoy the freedom of fur. You'll return when you're ready. M."
Return?
When she was ready. A low thump sounded behind her. She whipped around, well, more spun, tail and all, and saw the living room window swing open wider. A breeze fluffed the curtains, and beyond them, the garden shimmered like a forgotten memory. Flowers nodded, the bird bath rippled. The world looked different, brighter, edged in possibility. Giovanna had two choices: stay indoors, pacing like a confused house pet, or follow the pull in her paws. The scent of water tickled her nose. Not the chlorinated kind from the city pool, but wild water.
River water.
Pond water. Magic water. She slipped through the open window in one fluid motion and landed in the grass with a soft oof. The world was big now.
And thrilling.
Every blade of grass tickled her belly. Every bird overhead seemed to profit. The garden gate was ajar. So she scampered through it, into the world beyond, paws first, questions later. The world beyond the garden was bigger than she remembered. Or perhaps she was smaller. Either way, every pebble became a mountain, every ant a potential companion or obstacle. Giovanna padded along a narrow dirt path that shimmered faintly, as though something had walked it before her, and not long ago. Her paws barely made a sound, and the air buzzed with a kind of hidden music. Then she heard it. A song, not from lips or strings, but from water itself. It flowed through the bushes like a memory in liquid form, slow, playful, and strangely familiar. The sound tugged at her chest. She followed, tail swishing behind like a rudder. Past brambles, under leaves the size of umbrellas, she arrived at a shallow creek. It was no ordinary creek. The water glowed softly, glints of silver and coral danced across the ripples. Stones hummed beneath the surface. On the far bank, reeds bowed politely as if greeting her arrival. Giovanna dipped a paw in.
Warm.
She stepped forward. With each move, her body seemed to lighten. The water hugged her like silk. She floated, twirled.
Dove?
Her body knew what to do, as if she'd been born for this. She swam in tight circles, rolled onto her back, and for the first time, truly played. Then a voice, clear as glass yet soft as clouds, echoed from the water. "Little one, your paws remember." Giovanna froze. Her whiskers twitched. "Who said that?" she called. The creek shimmered. From behind a bend, a shape emerged. Another otter, but taller, older, with silvery fur and violet eyes that sparkled with mischief. "Been waiting," the otter said with a grin. "She said you'd come." She? The older otter winked, the sender of costumes and questions. "But first, can you solve the riddle of the ripple?" Before Giovanna could ask what that meant, the elder otter dove and vanished beneath the current, leaving behind a swirl of silver leaves.